Hi everyone, welcome to Deepti's Academy. Today we will discuss about an important topic from maternity nursing, placenta previa. Before going into the important questions, let's see what is placenta previa in detail. Please like the video. If you have any doubts or questions, you can write it as your comments. Share the video with your friends and subscribe to get the latest video as soon as uploaded. Alright, let's begin. Placenta. Placenta is a temporary fetal organ that begins developing from the blastocyst shortly after implantation. Let's see the functions of placenta. First, mother to fetus to transfer the nutrients. The placenta acts as a lifeline between the mother and the fetus, ensuring that the fetus gets the nutrients from the mother's body to survive. At the same time, the elimination of metabolic waste that occurs in the placenta. Next function is gas exchange. This process involves supplying of oxygen to the fetus and removing carbon dioxide from the fetus. So the fetus gets enough oxygen. Next function is secretion of proteins and steroid hormones. Progesterone is produced by placenta from maternal cholesterol and is secreted into the maternal circulation. It is important for maintaining pregnancy. Numerous proteins, peptides and growth factors are produced in the placenta. Hence, they are important for placental growth, fetal growth and development, and maternal physiological changes necessary to ensure adequate nutrition to the fetus. Another function is immunity. Invading placental cells express a unique antigen which is not recognized as a foreign antigen to the mother. Other unique antigens and local immune suppressions contribute to the prevention of rejection of fetal placental unit. Now let's see what is placenta previa. Placenta previa is an improperly implanted placenta in the lower uterine segment near or over the internal cervical os. Here comes the types of placenta previa. First, complete previa, partial previa and marginal previa. Let's see what is complete previa. The total or complete previa can be referred as the internal cervical os is covered entirely by the placenta when the cervix is dilated fully. How about the partial? The lower border of the placenta is within 3 cm of the internal cervical os, but the placenta does not fully cover the internal cervical os. The marginal placenta previa refers to the placenta that is located adjacent to but not covering the cervical opening. We have another type of placenta previa. It's called as low-lying placenta or low placenta, which has been used to refer both the placental previa and marginal placenta. Low-lying placenta occurs when the placenta extends into the lower uterine segment and its edge lies too close to the internal os of the cervix without covering it. The term is usually applied when the placental edge is within 0.5 to 5 cm of the internal cervical os. Some alternately give the term when the placental edge is within 2 cm from the internal cervical os. An additional information. We have anterior placenta that is attached to the front of the uterus and posterior placenta that is attached to the back of the uterus. The implantation associated factors include increased risk of pregnancy-induced hypertension, placental abruption, and gestational diabetes mellitus. Management of placenta previa. Management depends on the classification of placenta previa and the gestational age of the fetus. Characteristics of placenta previa. Vaginal bleeding. It is like sudden onset of painless, bright red vaginal bleeding occurs in the last half of the pregnancy. Uterus. Uterus is soft, relaxed and non-tender. Fundal height. Fundal height may be more than expected for gestational age. Placenta previa interventions. Maternal vital signs, Fetal heart rate and fetal activity should be monitored. Prepare for ultrasound to confirm the diagnosis. Vaginal examinations or any other actions that would stimulate uterine activity are avoided. Maintain bed rest in a sideline position as prescribed. Monitor the amount of bleeding to treat the signs of shock. Administer intravenous IV fluids, blood products, tocolytic medications as prescribed. Rh immunoglobulin may be also prescribed. What is tocolytic medications? It's an anti-contraction medications or otherwise known as labor suppressants. It is used to improve the infant morbidity and mortality rates. And if there is any heavy bleeding, a cesarean delivery must be performed. If you have any doubts regarding placenta previa, you can ask in the comment box. In placenta previa, we must know what is contraindicated. What is contraindicated? Yes. Performing a vaginal examination is contraindicated in placenta previa. Why? It may stimulate the uterine activity and may lead to heavy bleeding. If you have any doubts regarding placenta previa, you can ask in the comment box. Let's see the important questions that may come under placenta previa. First question. The maternity nurse is preparing for the admission of a client in the third trimester of the pregnancy who is experiencing vaginal bleeding and has a suspected diagnosis of placenta previa. The nurse reviews the primary healthcare provider's prescriptions and should question which prescription. Let's see the options. Number 1, prepare the client for an ultrasound. Number 2, obtain equipment for a manual pelvic examination. Number 3, prepare to draw a hemoglobin and hematocrit blood sample. And number 4, obtain equipment for external electronic fetal heart rate monitoring. Here the nurse has to pick the right answer by choosing the wrong prescription given by the doctor. If you think about the first option, that is prepare the client for an ultrasound. A diagnosis of placenta previa is made by ultrasound. Hence, if the doctor prescribes for an ultrasound, it is correct for the patient with placenta previa. We must go for an ultrasound to make sure that the placenta previa diagnosis can be made or not, to confirm the diagnosis of placenta previa. Hence, we must say first option is wrong for our answer. Here is our second option. Obtain equipment for a manual pelvic examination. Manual pelvic examinations are contraindicated when vaginal bleeding is apparent until a diagnosis is made and placenta previa is ruled out. Digital cervical examination can lead to hemorrhage. So, here if the doctor asks us to arrange the equipment for a manual pelvic examination, that is contraindicated. Most probably this may be our right answer. Anyways, let's see the other two options also. Number 3. Prepare to draw a hemoglobin and hematocrit blood sample. Not only hemoglobin or hematocrit, we must also assess for prothrombin time, partial thromboplastin time, fibrinogen, platelet count, type and cross match, antibody screening. This will be assessed to establish a baseline and also detect a possible clotting disorder. And we must be ready for blood transfusion if it is necessary. Option number 4. Obtain equipment for external electronic fetal heart rate monitoring. Electronic fetal monitoring, that is external, is crucial in evaluating the status of the fetus who is at the risk for severe hypoxia. The wrong prescription that the primary healthcare provider has put forward to carry out is the second option, that is obtain equipment for a manual pelvic examination. So that's our right answer. Let's see the next question. The nurse in the postpartum unit is caring for a client who has just delivered a newborn infant following a pregnancy with placenta previa. The nurse reviews the plan of care and prepares to monitor the client for which risk associated with placenta previa. The options are 1. Infection. Option number 2. Hemorrhage. Third option, chronic hypertension. And the last option is disseminated intravascular coagulation. Let's see the rationale. In placenta previa, the placenta is implanted in the lower uterine segment. In the given picture, the lower uterine segment is arrowed, where the placenta is attached to the lower part of the uterus. The lower uterine segment does not contain the same intervening musculature as the fundus of the uterus. And this site is more prone to bleeding. Hence, we can say hemorrhage is the right answer. While the nurse reviews the plan of care, she has to prepare herself to monitor the hemorrhage. Performing an assessment on a client diagnosed with placenta previa. Which assessment findings should the nurse expect to note? Select all that apply. We have almost 6 options. Let's see one by one. Uterine rigidity, uterine tenderness, severe abdominal pain, bright red vaginal bleeding, soft relaxed non-tender uterus, and the last option is fundal height that may be greater than expected for gestational age. Let's see the options in detail. First one, uterine rigidity. Uterine rigidity can occur in abruptio placenta, not in placenta previa. What is abruptio placenta? Abruptio placenta occurs when premature separation of placenta from the uterine wall that causes the abdomen to feel as hard and rod-like on palpation. So we can say the first option, that is uterine rigidity, is a wrong one. Uterine tenderness and severe abdomen pain are the classical symptoms of abruptio placenta. Hence, we have to omit these 2 options. Uterine tenderness and severe abdomen pain are wrong answers. Let's see the 4th option, bright red vaginal bleeding. Painless bright red vaginal bleeding in the 2nd or 3rd trimester of pregnancy is the sign of placenta previa. Let's see option number 5 and 6, soft, relaxed, non-tender uterus. And the last option says fundal height may be greater than expected for gestational age. Both these options are correct for placenta previa. The expected assessment findings that the nurse should note for placenta previa are bright red vaginal bleeding, soft, relaxed, non-tender uterus, and the fundal height may be greater than expected for gestational age. Let's see the 4th question. The nurse is caring for a client with a diagnosis of placenta previa. The nurse collects data knowing that which are characteristics of placenta previa. Select all that apply. The options are a tender and rigid uterus. Second, painless bright red vaginal bleeding. Third option, location in the lower uterine segment. 4th one, greenish discoloration of the amniotic fluid. And the last option is vaginal bleeding accompanied by abdominal pain. Let's see the options one by one in detail. First one, a tender and rigid uterus. Painful, rigid and tender uterus can be seen only in abruptio placenta, not in placenta previa. So option number 1 is wrong. Let's see option number 2, painless bright red vaginal bleeding. There will not be any pain and the vaginal bleeding will be bright red in case of placenta previa. So option number 2 is right. Let's see option number 3, location in the lower uterine segment. In placenta previa, the placenta will be located in the lower uterine segment as shown in the figure. So option number 3 is right. Let's see option number 4, greenish discoloration of the amniotic fluid. When does the amniotic fluid become green in color? Greenish discoloration of the amniotic fluid occurs as a result of meconium staining. Here you have the picture. You can compare the meconium stained placenta with the normal placenta. So we must say greenish discoloration of the amniotic fluid is a wrong option. Let's see the fifth option. Vaginal bleeding accompanied by abdominal pain. Vaginal bleeding can occur because the placenta is overriding the cervical os, and as the cervix dilates, the placental vessels bleed. Here, the mother who is diagnosed with placenta previa will not have any abdominal pain as we saw before. So we must say fifth option, vaginal bleeding accompanied by abdominal pain, is a wrong option. Here are the right answers. Painless bright red vaginal bleeding and location in the lower uterine segment. These are the right options for the diagnosis of placenta previa. Hope you understand so far. Let's see the next question. A prenatal client with vaginal bleeding is being admitted to the labor unit. The labor room nurse is performing the admission assessment and should suspect a diagnosis of placenta previa, if which finding is noted. Let's see the options. Option number 1, back pain. Option number 2 is abdominal pain. The third option is painful vaginal bleeding. And the last one, painless vaginal bleeding. Let's see the options: back pain, abdominal pain and painful vaginal bleeding. In these three options, we can see a common factor, that is pain. Presence of pain is not associated with placenta previa. Back pain, abdominal pain and painful vaginal bleeding are the symptoms of, yes, abrasio placenta. So we must say back pain, abdominal pain and painful vaginal bleeding. These three options are wrong. We have only one option remaining, that is painless vaginal bleeding. The sudden onset of painless vaginal bleeding is a classical sign of placenta previa. Fourth option, that is painless vaginal bleeding, is the right answer. Let's see the next question. A client is diagnosed with placenta previa. The nurse plans care with the understanding that which is associated with placenta previa. Here are the options. Option number 1, the placenta is implanted in the lower uterine segment. Second option, the greatest risk associated with this condition is chronic hypertension. Third option, there are two placentas attached to the fetus located in the side of the uterine wall. And fourth option is, the placenta is half the size that is expected to be, presenting a risk for deprivation of nutrients to the fetus. This question is very easy to answer as we know what is placenta previa and its clinical signs and symptoms. Alright, in placenta previa there is one placenta that is normal in size, but it is implanted in lower uterine segment. The lower uterine segment does not contain the same intertwining musculature as the fundus of uterus. Therefore, the greatest risk associated with this condition is bleeding. So, we can choose the first option as the right one, that is placenta is implanted in the lower uterine segment, as all the other options are wrong. Hope you understand about placenta previa, and I'm sure that you will be able to answer all the questions that comes under placenta previa. Thank you. As you remember to subscribe the channel. See you soon with another video. Till then, bye bye, take care.